In the most recent time, when you mention Kano State, one thing that comes to mind is the grand tussle between the emirs and who sits on the throne. Well, today on Breakfast Central, our guest happens to know a lot more about the lineage of the Emir, Ado Bayero, who happens to come from the family of the longest reigning monarch in Kano's history. Despite the recent tussle, she has already put together an illuminating documentary that delves into the remarkable life of one of Africa's most esteemed and influential monarchs.
Well, through captivating storytelling and also archival footage, which is themed by Father, the Emir, a portrait of Ado Bayero, it offers a compelling portrait of a monarch whose legacy transcends time and continues to shape the course of history. Well, let's take a look at just a snippet of this documentary.
Mahakama is now a national museum, a primary school, and serves as
Alhaji Dr. Ado Bayero, I will refer to as one of the most important living legends of this century.
Occupies this elevated and exalted position as the longest serving emir in the north.
Alhaji Ado Bayero, the Emir of Kano, is a special man. He is a man chosen by God.
And that there is a snippet of the documentary. It's a trailer from the documentary. Our guest this morning is a voracious reader, movie buff, history enthusiast, feminist, and a lover of adventure. She's Zainab Jummai Ado Bayero. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Just to set the foundation for the conversation, Aminu Ado Bayero, what's your relationship with him?
Aminu?
Yes.
He's my half-brother.
He's your half-brother. So the Ado Bayero is your father.
Yes.
And the documentary that you did about your father, what necessitated you telling that story?
Well, I figured that my father was a really iconic and revered monarch in the history of this country and Africa, of the 20th to 21st century. This is a man who exemplified what a great leader should be, especially in the North and Nigeria at very pivotal times in Nigeria's history. He ascended the throne in 1963. That was 3 years into Nigeria's independence, and he got to reign for 51 years. That's half a century, and he reigned for an incredible time in Nigeria's, evolving political and geopolitical landscape. So I figured that this would be a great man to tell his story.
I completely agree with you. I mean, it will be such a joy to have a father, your father being the emir. What would you say were your fondest memories? What was growing up for you like, being a royal, growing up in royalty? What would you say were some of your fondest memories of him?
Whoa, so many. I don't think I can pick one particular, but the fondest memories would be being with him, in private, just having that father-daughter bonding time, as a little girl, you see your dad, you'll be so excited, and he would give you this, great hug, and just, you sit on his lap and you watch TV. So those are the great memories I had of him, of just him being my dad, not him being in the royal court or being out there, just that normal man, just behind the scenes, without all that, regalia and all that. But, he was just a very gentle man and very calm, So experiencing that love with him was like the greatest memory I have.
All right, very interesting. But let's look at, it would take more than the usual for you to want to go the extra length to put a documentary together just to tell the story. So what's the major reason behind you wanting to tell his story, the story linking people back to Kano, helping people to understand the Emirship, helping people to understand the culture and so on? What did it take for you to put all of this together?
Well, when I embarked on this journey of producing and directing my first documentary, I was, going through different ideas in my head. This wasn't my first idea, but I was having conversations with my mom, and I was like, I want to produce and direct a documentary, and she was like, okay, that sounds good. And then she said, I think your father would be a great subject. And I was like, really? I was a bit skeptical. I didn't want to really begin my career with my famous last name. But she insisted, she was like, think about it. Your father was a great man. He was a historical figure. I mean, even if he wasn't your dad, won't you want to tell this story? And I totally agreed with her. And so I began researching about him like I would any other, historical famous figure out there. And I discovered so much about him, even like before I was born, his backstory before ascending the throne, he led an incredible life, he worked in different fields before he ascended the throne. So it was really fascinating to delve into his incredible life. And I think this is a story that future generations and my generation should know about. We shouldn't lose touch with great men like this. We have so much heroes in Africa, and he's definitely one of them.
Right. And now the seat of the Emirship is currently in Tussle in Kano State. This is a seat that is highly revered by the Kano people, and not just by the Kano people, even from the world outside. It's a story that you try to show us, like the reverence, that is attached to that stool. So how does it make you feel, seeing that the stool is currently being in contention? I mean, your half-brother currently occupies. I mean, you understand the journey that's going on. It's between him and Sanusi Lamido II. So how does that make you feel, seeing that it's currently in a tussle?
Yeah, it's quite surreal watching it play out like this. Like you said, the Kano Emirate has been highly revered for a very long time. This is, the monarchy has existed for almost 1,000 years. The first king of Kano was Bagauda. That was in 999 AD. And that was the Habe dynasty. He founded the Habe dynasty, which lasted for centuries. Until the 18th century, it was conquered by Usman Dan Fodio, who founded the Sokoto Caliphate, the Fulani Caliphate, and that encompasses the house estates. And so my father was like a symbol of this, what it means, the Caliphate, the great, history, the culture. And now for it to be, kind of in the public limelight in this way is really kind of unfortunate. You know, I understand that ambitious men like to hold on to power, they're royals, but I think it should be a bit more, you know, handled with a little bit of finesse, you know, because like you said, this seat is highly revered, and it's a great traditional institution, and it should be respected. And I think both sides should try and handle it with caution and be a bit more calm. You know, it shouldn't be kind of tossed and be in the political arena like that. It should be more about the tradition and the culture, and we should try and preserve that and have respect for that seat and what it represents, because it goes beyond one man or two men's ambitions. You know, it's a lot more than that. So that's what I would say. I would advise both parties to try and restrain themselves. Yeah.
Is it important to you that the Emirship still remains in the Ado Bayero dynasty?
I think, I believe it's in Allah's hands. You know, it's destiny. I think both men are on this part because they were destined to be on this part. Whether it's 14, 15, 16, you know, you can't change what destiny has in store for people. So it's not up to me who, you know, gets to be on the throne. They're both my family. You know, one is my half-brother, the other is my cousin. So it's all up to who Kano loves. So may the best man win.
Oh, I mean, that's quite some expose, if we put it that way. You have a cousin there. Would I say the Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi family as well? And then, of course, your half-brother, so on. But we've seen how this has indeed disrupted the peace, so to say, in Kano State. But while speaking to some persons who have followed this story closely, journalists who have equally written about your father, who are of age now, I mean, they've come here, they've sat down with us, they've spoken with us. Many of them have the sense that the Kano Emirate is currently being politicized. Would you like to share if this was similar during, I mean, your father's time? And were you able to bring out some of these in the documentary to help us see how he was able to handle situations like these? And especially with politics, because they say politics always finds its way into, you know, the Emirates.
Yeah. During my father's reign, you know, my father was highly respected because he was a very dignified personality. You know, he was very calm, and he always stayed neutral, you know, in political issues. But yeah, he did have some, you know, moments like in the Second Republic with the late Abubakar Rimi. You know, he kind of really had a bone of contention with my dad. And my dad really rose above it. You know, there was a lot of crisis going on at that point also. But you know, in the end, my dad kind of, you know, weathered the storm, you know, and he went on. And even another political figure kind of came into the picture too. I did go into those in the documentary. Yeah, you get to see that. But I think the difference between my father's reign and now is that he really, really tried not to let those political figures get to him. You know, he tried to stay above it, that. You know, he didn't want it to affect the Emirate or, you know, the culture or the tradition. You know, he didn't want it to encroach it into the Emirate too much. He tried to avoid it as much as he could. But right now, ever since his demise, you know, 10 years, it's become so chaotic, you know, where the politicians are kind of really, you know, kind of controlling the game. You know, it's not just between the royal houses. I mean, a lot of people complain that this is between the houses of Bayero and the house of Sanusi, but I think it goes beyond that. And it's really unfortunate because, like I said, you know, the royal homes should be respected, and it shouldn't be politicized. It
Completely
shouldn't be.
agree. Our culture and tradition should be held in such high
Esteem.
revered, and not trampled upon by political ambition. Let's talk about this documentary again. How long did it take you to make the documentary?
Well, from pre-production, production, and post-production, it took like 5 months. Yeah, because I would take a break, writing the story, the script. I wrote it, then, getting a team to work with me in Kano to shoot, and then, editing and stuff like that, yeah.
How long is the documentary? What's the duration? And when is it going to be released? Or is it released already?
No, it's not released yet. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I've been on this, media tour trying to get as much attention as I can. I've not found the right platform yet. I've not found the right contacts yet for this documentary, but I would love it to get a global audience. I believe it should be on streaming platforms and, cinema if possible. It's a great story. And my father's 10th anniversary of his demise is coming up soon, June 6th. So I think this is a great time for people to also get to experience this incredible man, especially with everything going on right now, to go back to, this reign, I think it's a great time for this.
When people watch the documentary, what are the key things you would like them to take away from it?
That the Kano Emirate is so iconic for a reason, and my father symbolizes what that emirate stands for. The culture, the tradition, the beauty of Kano and the North. You don't really get to experience the North that much in the mainstream culture. So I really want this aspect of the North to be portrayed, for Nigerians, Africans, the world to see what this amazing institution and this culture and the North has to offer.
All right. My final question would be I haven't been to Kano before.
I have.
You have?
In 2000, I was in Otoro for a while, and then Salmon
Okay.
and then I learned a few Hausa words.
Like
Sunana Olive. That's my name is Olive, right? And I think I can count 1 to 100 in Hausa.
for real?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Don't do it here, please.
I won't.
So,
I won't show up.
anyway, finally, just let us know, likely, when do you think this documentary will be released? And most importantly, how beautiful is Kano, by the way? I know that was one question I wanted to ask. I mean, you've seen it all. How
Yeah.
peaceful is it?
Kano is incredibly beautiful. Like if you look at it's quaint, it's got that old world feeling to it, even though it's a metropolitan, bustling city. But at the same time, you get to experience the quiet side, even in the, countryside, like the, Kari, the beachy areas, you travel through all that. And even the main city, you get to...
There are beach areas?
No, I mean the local government.
Okay.
Kano too. It's incredible. It's really beautiful, and it's unique in its architecture. You get to experience the Kano's ancient walls and stuff like that. It's a beautiful city. It is.
I'd look forward to maybe visiting one day and experiencing the beauty that Kano State has to offer. And we hope that the tussle is resolved amicably soon.
Absolutely.
And we wish you all the best with the documentary.
Thank you so much.
We've had Zainab Jummai Ado Bayero, who's here to share with us her journey through her storytelling, and she's been able to tell the story of her father, the Emir. And we look forward to the documentary being released soon. Thank you very much, Zainab, for joining us.